All right, let's get right into it. There is an animated movie absolutely taking over the world right now. And yeah, on the surface, it's this huge, flashy K-pop musical. But if you look just a little bit closer, there's a story here that is so incredibly deep, it's tapping into literally thousands of years of hidden history and spiritual power. So today, we're unlocking the secrets of K-pop demon hunters. First off, we just have to talk about the sheer scale of this thing. As of this week, the movie has blown past 180 million views. I mean, just let that number sink in for a second. That is absolutely insane.
That officially makes it the second biggest Netflix movie ever. And it's not just about the animation. Its soundtrack, a song called Golden, just smashed its way to #1 on the Billboard singles chart. So yeah, this isn't just a hit movie, it's a complete and total global phenomenon.
But here's the big question, right? What if all of this success isn't just because the songs are catchy and the animation is gorgeous? What if this movie is plugging into something way older, a kind of spiritual current that's been hidden in plain sight? And what if that is the real secret to its power? Okay, so let's start with the basics. What's this movie even about? It follows a K-pop group called Huntress. To the world, they are total superstars, but they have a secret. They are also spiritual warriors who use their music and their dance to fight actual demons. Now, that sounds like a pretty cool fantasy plot, you know? But here's the twist. This idea of artists being spiritual protectors isn't just made up for the movie. It connects directly to some of Korea's oldest, most fundamental indigenous beliefs. And that brings us to the first major layer we need to peel back. We're talking about the movie's deep, deep connection to the ancient Korean tradition of mugyo. So what exactly is mugyo? Well, you can think of it as Korea's native shamanic faith. And at its heart is a spiritual mediator, a shaman, whose whole job is to be the bridge between our world and the spirit world. And they do this using rituals, using songs, using dance, all to heal people and protect the community from harm. And this is where it gets really fascinating. The movie basically maps that ancient role directly onto its K-pop heroes. The traditional female shaman in Korea is called a mudang. She was the guardian of the community, using her performances to connect with the spirits. Well, the Huntress idols, they do the exact same thing. It's just that their stage is the entire world, and their performance is K-pop. The film's central idea is right here. For them, a performance is never just a performance. It's what the movie calls a spiritual ritual act. The concert stage is their altar. The choreography, the music, the lights, it all becomes a powerful, modern version of the mudang's sacred dance, designed to heal and protect. But wait, there's another layer to this. The whole warrior part of their identity also has a direct historical parallel. We need to go back to the ancient Silla dynasty and talk about the elite warriors known as the Hwarang. You know, we often think of the Hwarang as just soldiers, but they were so much more than that. They were a spiritual community that mixed martial arts with really deep religious practices. Taoism, Buddhism, and yes, mugyo. Their whole mission wasn't just about winning battles. It was about the spiritual protection and harmony of their entire society. And get this. This is the detail that just connects everything perfectly. The original leaders of the spiritual warrior group, a precursor group called the Wonhwa, were women. This is a real historical fact, and it creates this incredible direct line from ancient history straight to the all-female Huntress group in the movie. It's amazing. So through all their intense training and their dedication, Huntress really becomes a modern-day rebirth of that Hwarang spirit. They embody this powerful idea of jeofhwagunsang, which basically means being spiritual leaders who can connect with and transform the public through their art. Okay, so brace yourself for what is probably the most unexpected connection of them all. Some theologians are actually looking at these themes and seeing how they resonate with concepts from Christian theology, specifically through this idea of a shaman Jesus. It sounds wild at first, but when you look at the roles they play, you see some really interesting parallels. In the Gospels, Jesus casts out demons, he heals the sick, and he acts as a mediator for the community. We'll look at the functions of the mudang and the hwarang. They engage in spiritual combat, they perform community healing, and they intercede with the spirit world. Functionally, the roles are strikingly similar. This whole line of thinking is part of a Korean theological framework called Pung-ryu-yo theology. And all that means, really, is that it's a way of looking at Christian ideas through a uniquely Korean cultural lens, one that puts a huge emphasis on harmony between the divine, the earth, and humanity.
So the main takeaway here is pretty profound. Within this way of thinking, the heroes of K-pop demon hunters aren't just pop stars fighting monsters. They actually become this modern pop culture expression of these timeless universal archetypes: the healer, the mediator, and the protector, roles that we see in spiritual traditions all over the world.
So what happens when we put all of this together? You've got the shamanism, you've got the ancient Hwarang warriors, and you even have these unexpected theological parallels. What does it all mean? Well, it points to something much, much bigger happening in our culture right now. For a long time, the thinking was that as the world got more modern, it would become less spiritual, less magical, a process called disenchantment. But what a movie like this shows us is maybe the exact opposite is happening. We're seeing a re-enchantment, where popular culture is finding these incredibly creative and powerful new ways to bring ancient myths and spirituality right back into the center of our lives. And this connects so perfectly with a vision from one of Korea's most revered independence activists, Kim Gu. He once said that he wanted his country's influence to come not from military force, but from the power of its culture to bring joy and meaning to humanity. When you look at the global success of K-culture today, it really feels like the fulfillment of that incredible dream. Which kind of leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. K-pop Demon Hunters shows us how a piece of modern entertainment can secretly be a vessel for thousands of years of tradition. So the real question for us is, what other ancient myths, what other spiritual ideas are being reborn right now in the music we listen to, the movies we watch, and the stories we tell each other every single day? If you start looking for it, you might be shocked by what you find.